Hey there, it's CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana. And across the Red River is beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. There's the aquarium is blocking the view of the city. There's some buildings and stuff peeking through there. Anyway, yeah. This is kind of my quiet spot where I kind of let meditate, calm down, pass time. This really is about passing the time for me right now. What I wanted to do was kill some time before dinner. It's for me at midnight. That's in about 4 hours. That's around 8ish, 8 p.m. or whatever. In about 4 hours, I will have been 4 days keeping a keto diet. So that's kind of cool. I said I was going to go hard with this thing, and I am. And maybe the big break from that was when I was visiting my sister in the hospital, and the lady asked, did I want to have lunch with my sister. She had a tray, so I had like a serving, about 3 ounces of a really good cornbread dressing along with a sliced turkey. So, but that amount really doesn't like screw you over. And when was that? That was a couple of days ago. So, you know, by now I'm full into it. And I'm already dreaming about the food. I've got, the only thing I've had was I've got these little, they're snack bars. It's a little snack cookie with almond butter and a little bit of cinnamon on top of the cookie. So it's almost like a snickerdoodle with an almond butter sandwiched in between it. But each one of those, because it's just one cookie sandwich. It's basically like it's not very many carbs in a day. So you can have one of those, and that be your carb, and it not screw you over if you're counting your ketos. So that's kind of cool. I should do a video where I kind of like talk about the deliciousness of that bar. Actually, I think I don't even know the name of it. I do know that it's a cinnamon almond butter bar. But it's basically, it almost reminds me of those, do you know those Nutter Butter, peanut butter snack kind of things? Except for those are much smaller, and there's a lot more sugar in this. This is, these are meant to be, kind of like a healthy snack kind of thing for a supplement and everything. So yeah. So anyway, the point is, I'm very good, on this diet today. What am I looking at? That is something I've not noticed before. Let me zoom in. No, I don't have to. I guess you can see it there. That fence. What is that fence back there? What is that going on? I did know that this boardwalk has new ownership, and a lot of the shops have left. Some of them remain, but I do know that they're going to do some sports kind of stuff over there. So that's kind of cool. It's nice to see what's going on. There's another mall here locally, St. Vincent Mall, or Mall St. Vincent. I think it's St. Vincent Mall officially. I've never figured that out. Is it St. Vincent Mall or is it Mall St. Vincent? I don't know. Anyway, and it's on Mall St. Vincent Boulevard, which used to be, it's over in the Kings Highway, Southern Avenue area. All that used to be the corner of, it all used to be like one great big, straightforward neighborhood. And then I was living there just a block or so down. My mother worked in the mall. My older sister and I just ran that mall basically all over. We terrorized it. But little kids that we were, she was starting out in junior high at the time. Back then they called it junior high because it was sixth, and sixth and no, it was seventh and eighth grade. So she was a seventh grader, and I was in third grade. And yeah, but both schools in the neighborhood or whatever. But yeah, we went to ran all over that mall. And then, of course, I-49, they were going to build that, and it was coming right over where our houses were. Now, we've lived there, and then we moved away, moved around a few places, then we moved back. And so that particular area was home for us. It was, that little area of the world that you think of where it's home. That was home for us, but eminent domain. And, of course, as a child, you grow into adulthood, and you find other places that you also feel sentiment towards if you do leave your childhood home. So that's fine. That's you find that sometimes memories are as wonderful as a physical location, and you do find that any place can be home when you bring your love with you, So that's fine. There were other places. We moved to these apartments called Villa Marquis. They're still there. And there was like the development, Villa Marquis 1, Villa Marquis 2. We lived in Villa Marquis 1, which was like 3 buildings. And then there was Villa Marquis 2, which were 2 buildings on the same lot, and then across the street and 1 block over, next to their main office, they had 2 or 3 other buildings, apartment buildings, or whatever. So that was interesting. Yeah, we loved living there. There were like anything, there's some childhood. Move in, you're new to the neighborhood, and you gotta find your groove in any sort of thing. And that was an awkward, that was from the time, and I'm like 10, 11, 12 years old. That's the most awkward tween years was for me, and it's like goofish. Maybe I'm not fitting in with people, and that's the way it feels. And then suddenly I realized that, wow, I've been fitting in all along anyway, So it's kind of like, it's just, yeah. Let's see what else. I don't know. That was just a story that I was talking about, the eminent domain, because I was talking about the Mall St. Vincent, or St. Vincent Mall. It's under new ownership, and they are going to do some things. Particularly, I think what they're going to do, I think the Sears that used to be there, I think they're going to try to turn into a medical clinic, which would be awesome if they would take my insurance, if it's a clinic. Or I could be mistaken. It might be a medical supply store or something. Maybe it's not going to be a clinic. I would love for it to be a medical clinic. We need more accessible healthcare. We do have insurance, but we need more physicians and more clinics that will actually take the Medicare Advantage that's out here. See, here's the thing with the Medicare Advantage plans. A lot of people will take the Medicare Advantage portion of the plan, but the co-insurances, they will not accept the Medicaid. So it throws a wrench in being able to use the Medicaid Advantage at a lot of clinics, and a lot of the things that they, like if you need chiropractic assistance, if you want to opt for that, a lot of chiropractors, they will accept the Medicare portion of your plan, but if there's a co-insurance, they won't accept the Medicaid that's a co-insurance, and they'll do anything and everything to try to scam for that, So when shopping around for insurance plans under the Affordable Care Act, you do want to make sure to check your providers, check what insurance they do. If you have a physicians that you care for. You want to check that they do take your Medicare plans, your insurance, well, just any kind of insurance plan. You want to make sure that they do take your insurance plan, but if you have a co-insurance, you definitely want to make sure that they take all of your insurance, because, and I have this on good authority, I know people who have worked in billing and insurance coding and all this kind of good, this is not a false claim. This is not a conspiracy theory, anything like that. This is flat reality. Clinics, offices will charge the insurance company. If there's a co-insurance, oftentimes they will feign not being able to work with the co-insurance, charge that co-insurance amount to the patient, and then later on come back and say, oh, by the way, we've gotten everything worked out, and they'll charge the co-insurance portion to the co-insurance company, and do not always do that return to the client. So if you're just out there randomly trusting clinics, doctor's offices, the businesses to do the business in a fair way, that's often not the case. I once had a doctor refer me for some imaging to a local company. I'll name it, Christopher Imaging. I don't care. I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. This is a fact. My doctor wanted me to have an ultrasound, an abdominal ultrasound, and I did. And of course, everything was paid, and then they came back and told me that there was an issue with the co-insurance. They do, however, take the co-insurance, but they do not file with the co-insurance, that the primary insurance company was to file with the co-insurance. It was a whole big mix-up over who was going to do the filing and this and that. And so between the insurance, my primary care, not primary care, but the Christopher Imaging, between them, the primary insurance and the co-insurance, everything being, but in the meantime, so there was that to be worked out, but in the meantime, what they wanted to do is they wanted to sweat me down for I don't know, just a random figure of $27 or something like that. And I'm like, well, that's fine, but you're not getting it right now. I'm going to look into and call the companies, and I'm going to find out myself what is my responsibility, and of course, how do I file for a reimbursement from the insurance company if that's the case, if I pay, whatever. And once I told the lady from Christopher Imaging, the one who was doing it, this was several years ago, so maybe the same office people are not there, I don't know. But once I said that I was going to look into that and make a few phone calls, she said, well, this is just ridiculous, I'm going to write it off. So was there an extra amount that was legitimate and she wrote it off, or was there an extra amount? Was there not an extra amount, but it was a policy to get the money from the customer and then or the patient, and then have the patient file with the insurance to get whatever it is, whatever was supposed to happen. This was Medicaid. So was there, I guess what I'm getting at is, was there a potential Medicaid fraud potentially that could happen, either by design or by mistake or by loophole, so that was Christopher Imaging in Shreveport, and this was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. So it's all water under the bridge now anyway, and perhaps by now they've got better information on what to do. I'm going to walk over and check out the fountain. Oh, there's something that happened. I'm so excited about this. I came down here and I did a talk. And I'm sure by now it's turned off because it's later in the evening, almost at night. There is a feature down here on the Riverview Park That's what we call this, the Riverview Park. It's got all these different little features, and I'm so excited. That had been not working. It was not functional, right? Some time ago, maybe a year or so after they opened this up as it is now, there was a flood from the Red River, and it kind of shorted out some of these things. I need to remember to get over in the daytime so I can check this out, find out when they operate it, when they don't. But it's official. It is official. Do you know what I'm talking about? Can you guess? It doesn't matter. I'm about to tell you anyway. Oh yeah, there it is. Holy hell. I was so excited when I first learned about this, and it took them a couple of seasons. But they got the sprinkler back open, the sprinkler park. That was such an awesome thing. You know, we are a community of people that live down here. We're not just businesses, we're not just bars in the middle of the night, but families, they live here. Families live in the buildings and everything, so I'm just gonna kind of hang back, but look at that. LED lights, sprinklers, everybody having a good time. Oh my God. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Everybody, people from all walks of life just enjoying it. I'm not going to get too close because there are children, and I don't have anyone's parents, permission to get all up on that. But oh my God, I'm so excited for that. So, grab your towels, grab your bathing suits, come on out. Let me just come over here. People are probably like, yeah, I better not. I don't want to come out. I don't want to come off as creepy. But yeah, definitely, if you're within the area, come check out what's happening downtown. And of course, this is one of my favorite features. So that, there's, let me show you. There's two different sections. That one over there, and this one over here. So, plenty of splash room for everybody. They said they were going to do it. I was very pushy in some videos that I made about I love Shreveport. Why don't they get in here and do some things, fix some of these things up? I talked about, because this was something that they told us. The mechanism for those sprinklers, they got flooded out, but they were built into some place where it wasn't convenient or easy to get to repair it. And I'm like, well, why did the engineers build this like it was supposedly, I don't know. It's like, okay, if it's under like a concrete, can't you just get into the concrete? Like if you have to chisel a part away, y'all fix roads all the time or whatever. So anyway, that's kind of cool. This is great. It is the dog days of summer in Louisiana. It gets hot as hell. Over. It gets hot as hell. I want to talk while this is in my background. Look at these lights changing. That is so cool. It's, and it's free. You don't have to pay to get in here. That's the thing. Let the kids run around and splash and stuff and have a good time. I love it. I'm tempted to throw on my shorts and go run around, but I will not. But oh my God, I just want to come back over here and check it out. What I'm enjoying most is the fun energy that's coming from all that. And of course, trains. Who did train? If you're a train enthusiast, you get the train, and then you get this, and then you can walk over and stretch around, walk out and look at the river and everything. This is a wonderful function. Once more people really find out about it, they just opened this back up. I was so mad when this flooded, all of this, and none of this was working. I was like, it's beautiful, do something. One thing I want them to do, engineers, if you're out there, get these roses, these Shreveport roses, fix them. It's a matter of wiring. They're great big giant lamps, basically. Get in there and fix the LED lights that change colors. the roses change colors, and some of them, the roses can open. They can be made to open a little wider or close or something like that. I think. And the reason why I'm saying that may be wrong, I may be right. Kind of like that Billy Joel song. But anyway, and it was the husband of my former boss, Miss Slack, I used to work for at St. Mark's Cathedral. Her ex-husband is the one who designed all this down here, those roses. And so what would be lovely would be to see those lit up again, because they do light. They light like those baubles down here. You know, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Then we have the bridge. And, you know, I'm not a political person. I really am not. But I think especially locally, a person should really look into their local civics and see what can be done. Look at who's running your local community. Do vote in the national elections, the presidential elections, the Senate, all that kind of stuff. Do what there is to do, the House of Representatives, the Senate. Vote on that kind of stuff. But really do pay attention to what happens in your local area. Sometimes we might have things to vote on, votes that don't particularly pertain to me, that do not particularly reflect me, and that I don't see would make a big difference one way or the other. Those are the votes that I could maybe abstain from. But then there are the type of votes that happen that, you know, budget, you know, that do matter. And you never know if you don't look at that. And that is each person's civil responsibility. You may not be able to help the fact that you were born in the United States, but if it is your choice to remain in the United States, well, you know, we have that responsibility, all of us, to give our input, especially if it's something that's pertinent to us. Now, if it's one of those things that we just don't really care one way or the other, fine if you don't care one way or the other. But, yeah. I know someone who doesn't vote anywhere, and the reason why is he just doesn't want to be available for jury duty. I was like, you know, they would just call you the one time, and then you could just say, hey, you could just make something like, I'm not going to be honest, I'm going to say anything or throw anything to get out of jury duty because I'm not, and then they would probably never call him again. But you'd be able to vote. But, you know, it's, the guy that I'm talking about is very passionate about things that he sees. The, you know, individual rights of different groups and this and that and everything. But does not vote because jury duty. It's just an observation. Arguing over things on social media doesn't really do much. Voting does a lot. Okay, we can check this out. No, this bench is like free. Because there was someone sitting over here, and it's like I didn't want to like be all up on his space or whatever. But look at that, everybody having a good time. So, there's like two main little areas, and then seems to be, I guess I should walk in front of that. I'm going to try not to capture any children. I guess when I walk by, I'll pan down at the feet or something like that. I want to kind of show what it's looking like from the front. I don't think I'll ever be able to, within the near future, do a video with, over here. Oh my God, no. I don't think I'm going to be able to do a video of what this looks like because, you know, without people being here, because it's just so refreshing. But it's like, another of the two areas I don't know if there's like a smaller area or not. So let me just kind of like creep through and walk through. No, okay. There are two triangular areas. This is awesome. You know, there wasn't this kind of attention to this area when it first opened up several years ago. But that flood happened and all this sat here. Now what you want to do is you want to watch out as you're walking. If you're barefooted or something, or you're running around, watch out for that, cracks and stuff, you know. But whatever. The two areas, this is circular and that's triangular. And there are restrooms over here. I don't see that they're open though. So maybe they're not gonna make the restrooms accessible. There's I don't know, and it's right across the street from the Shreveport. You could come down here with your family and you could visit the Shreveport, and then you could have in your bag like some swimwear and come across the street and splash and play. And the Shreveport also has IMAX theater, so you could, you know, they show like educational. Let me show you the dome. That's the dome, and then there's the Shreveport. Somewhere around there's supposed to be some sort of area. I've never been to it. I would love to go to an actual planetarium, simply because this is gonna sound so corny, but James Dean's character Jim Stark in Rebel Without a Cause went to a planetarium with the class, and I thought that was so cool, and I wanted to do that. And then I wanted to be able to have an excuse to do Sal Minio's line, "What does he know about man alone?" Yeah, it was so, yeah, that was like a 15, 16-year-old kid with that, you know, very solemn expression. And then of course he goes on with this whole like boy crush on James Dean, you know, as a kind of a parental father figure, and he's trying to like create the family that he wanted to have with the lead. Is it Natalie Wood? I think so. But there is so much stuff. Now you really can come down here and bring your children. And perhaps that'll be good for Cassandra's. If it's lunchtime, there's Cassandra's on the river or something that's probably got some lunchtime prices. But she is a little bit high end. I think what we need right here, somewhere around here, we need a restaurant that is not affiliated with the casinos or inside of the casino or something like that. That's not charging casino price. We need a business that is like a diner. If it can't be like a McDonald's chain or something like that, it should be a diner where you can get like a regular plate or something like that. And, you know, something like that would be a benefit. We do have Cassandra's on the rivers. They probably have some stuff in there. But all this plate, all around, all this, that's going to work up an appetite, right? That's going to work up an appetite. If this stays down here, then how about making it someplace where you could come down and get some chicken strips for your young ones that are running around or something. You know, they do need a place for food. And if it just opens at peak times, that would be just fine. I don't know if this is something that they're going to do in the summer or all year round, but we have a lot of heat in Louisiana, so they could certainly use that. Also, I want to come back and look. Walking through these pillars, you just see glimpses of the bridge, and beautiful. Maybe I'm going to hang out here until, because it's almost, maybe I'll hang out here until the sun sets, and then I'll head back home. I came down here just to look at what was going on. I thought there was going to be a, usually within the month, around the first of the month, they do like a pop-up event, and then they change the bridge. They did not change the bridge. It is the second Friday, but it's early in the month. So they did not change the bridge. There wasn't a pop-up event. So maybe they didn't do that because they did do the grand opening of this. And I had forgotten about that. I didn't forget about it, but just it wasn't in the forefront of my mind today. And oh my God, I'm so happy for it. You know, I've always loved my city. I love the beauty that it has. But I really love the potential for everything that it can do. Look at all these wonderful, beautiful people downtown. If you hear anything about Shreveport, you know, I don't know, crime, gun violence, that kind of stuff per capita is really high, probably the highest in the nation per capita, whatever. Look at this. Look at all this wonderful good time happening. This is what can happen when you invest in your community. Awesome. Awesome. And okay. I'm gonna stroll back over to right behind the aquarium. By the way, that's an it's an aquarium with the fish and stuff. You know what would be great? There is a diner attached to this aquarium during the summertime. That would be a good time for them to open up. It's right there, right located right here. There are places where people can eat. It's also right next to the Shreveport Police Memorial, so a chance to reflect on the dangerous job that police officers have, and can serve as kind of a way to help inform that police officers they get stressed when they have to interact with the public, because you know when they leave for their job, they don't know if it's going to be, they don't know if they're coming home. You know, probably are, but they don't know. This could be the day they get shot. You know. So as citizens, and they're there to protect us against, you know, crime, you know, we should be aware of that. If we have, as citizens, interactions with police officers, let's try to be a little mindful of that potential sacrifice that they make, and what may be a hassle for us, getting a ticket or getting a warning about where to cross in the street or something like that. You know. Yeah. Okay. And that's not to say that I don't want. That's not to say that I don't want any police officials or whatever to be held to accountability and everything. But you know, just yeah. Maybe it's time that we all start coming together so that we can have more events like that sprinkler park, because oh my God, is it wonderful. You know, there was something in my apartments where they brought you know, a couple of things, like a big carnival basketball puffy balloon thing, and I think maybe there was a blow up sprinkler setup or something. And then the weekend before that in Shreveport Common, or the day or so before that in Shreveport Common Park, they had water slides and things like that. So because what do you do with children in this extreme heat? Well, you got to bring them out. Got to bring them out. I'll show you what's behind me if I can get a hold of it. Where? There. That awesome moon. We're going to look at it from a different angle. I'm going to flip the camera. That is beautiful, that moon. This is coming in brighter than it should. It's actually darker than it's showing up on my camera, but that moon is a full moon. I don't know what you call the full moon in August. God. All these good, wonderful vibes. And it's really kind of an orangey moon. It's just like it's not like one of those blood red moons, but it's definitely orange. I'm gonna look it up. When I post this video, I'm going to have looked at what this particular full moon is called this month. And this looks to be the first day of the full moon cycle, just on the side that's to my left. It's a little bit shadowed still, so potentially there's just a tick mark left that could make this full. But you know, that's cool. This is not a, you know, it's such a clear, perfect moon, and it's the face. You got like the two. You can't really see it here. There's two eyes, a bit of a nose, and a mouth that's shadowed on that moon. So when you think about the man in the moon, that's where that comes from. And if you can, get out and look at this thing tonight. This is beautiful. I want to leave and get home, but it's not quite dark yet, and I don't want to leave this moon. Oh my God, am I loving it? How I did all that talking. Oh my God. I want you to know that this is why I come down to the river. You know, the purpose of my YouTube channel is to reach out to people and let them know how proud I am of my city, all the surrounding areas, all the beauty that I think that it holds. And I want you to come and experience this on your trips and vacations, and that's, you know, that's first and foremost what I think this channel can accomplish. And then, you know, I do come down here to this river to find examples, even in my meditative solitude, to find examples of connectivity and peace and relaxation and just everything. So, yeah. So, check back with this bridge probably several times this month, but we'll check back next month. It's also, I get to renew my my ID, you know, which is yay. Fortunately, 4 years ago when I did my ID, I was having a pretty decent hair day. That's important. That ID picture is something people are going to look at forever and forever and forever. 4 years later, can I still pull off a decent ID picture? You know, looking like just an average person, but yeah. Or will I be looking like a monster? I don't know. That's definitely going to be a day where I wear some foundation and just a bit of a tint on my lips and possibly just a hint of a shadow under my eyes. And I'm definitely going to use some eyeliner. And shadier glasses, bruh. Shadier glasses. True. Okay. I'm going to totally rehearse my... Yes, I care about how I look. I cannot help it. Okay. So pulling back away, we kind of get the... It's a little bit darker this time of night, but not quite so much. So, and I don't know when they close these sprinklers off, but I love that I can see it from here. They look like bonfires in the distance with those LED lights coming up through the sprinkler system. That is so cool. I want to know some of what's going on in your world. I made a brief video. I made a very short, brief video. Let me turn this way and flip it, the camera. There's so many editing things that I don't know about. I've got to learn. Okay, the bridge and everything. There we go. Whatever. Backdrop. Illuminats. Okay. What I want to do is I want to know, what are some things that happen around your area of the world? What are some of the things that happen in your community that you're happy about? I have some friends that live in a little small town in Arkansas called Mountain View. And Mountain View, I haven't been there yet, but I need to get up there. But Mountain View is one. It's like it claims itself as the world capital of folk music. Now, I'm an acoustic guitarist. I probably would play more electric if I lived in anything other than a small apartment that's next to other apartments. Actually, as far as a two-bedroom apartment, mine's kind of on the nicer side. It's not humongous, but yeah. But it is that is the music that I play, acoustic. And so when you're playing acoustic, everything sounds like folk music. I've done metal. I've done songs by Twisted Sister, who's about as hair metal as you can get, and they sound like folk music arrangements because of acoustic guitar. How beautiful! That's a very intense. This camera is not showing the intensity brightness, and you think that it's blinding you, but when you're going over the bridge, the lights are spaced farther apart, so they're not actually blinding, and they're very soft lights. Why not another month of the colors of the American flag? I'm a patriot. Even more so now that I know what can happen in our beautiful neighborhood. Okay, I'm going to take a quick walk one more time down by the fountains because I like them. And then I'm going to kind of head home. We're right around sundown, so I killed about an hour. Well, 42 minutes. By the time I finish this video, I know me, I will talk. I will talk for a while. By the time I finish and make it home and everything like that, I will have killed enough time that I will fill up an hour and then some. I love that whole like lights shining through the tree and everything. That is kind of cool. And there's a platform. Let me walk this way. There's a platform, of course, where I kind of at one point looked down. I was going to say it's where I started, but I didn't. But I was looking down upon it and everything. So, what a wonderful, fun thing. We have a water park in the southwest part of the town that it used to be Watertown, then it was like some sort of splash water thing, Water King, I don't know what it, and then it was owned by a church and they maintained it for a while, and then it's been recently sold again, and it's been closed this time, so I don't know. But yeah, when I was growing up though, we had a local thing called Hamill's Park. There was a water slide, a pretty decent roller coaster. It wasn't the big monster roller coasters that you would get at Disney's or anything like that, or the big theme parks, but it was there, and then we had well, the merry-go-round is still there. It's a church now. It's I think it's a Riverview Church, or I don't know. It's church. It's a church. I attend a meeting there. It's like the Hamill's Park. And then they had go-karts. Now, I was too small the last time I went. I was still too short to ride the go-kart at a safe level. I was almost, but yeah. It's okay. I was a little skittish and scared to get behind the wheels of a vehicle anyway at that age. I was maybe third, fourth grade or whatever, so I was short for my age. Let's see if I can't. It looks like zoomed in. You can see it's water when you zoom in a little bit, and you can tell it's water, but the detailing's not here from a distance. But you know, people just need a release from this heat. You know, these folks walk off before I walk behind them. One thing I try to be careful of, because not careful but considerate of, I am a person, I love to share public spaces with people, but if someone's walking up behind me and they're talking, you know, kind of, or on a bike or something, kind of give me a, hey, coming through, but don't wait until you're right up on me before you give me that heads up, you know. Don't scare the hell out of me or give me a heart attack or whatever. Hey, I'm, you know, in my 50s, you know. I don't want to get shocked by a sudden surprise or something. Something about, like, I'm friends with people, and they have, some of them have little kids and stuff, and that's something I have to be, you know, hey, little kids love to jump out and scare the hell out of you. Little monsters. And I'm like, oh my God. I don't want to be like, you know, there's that show, you know, Sanford and Son, Fred Sanford. I'm coming to join you, honey. Grab that. I don't want to be that. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time at the river. What a fun time. One more look at, no, wrong direction. Okay. Also, I forget which way I'm pointing. I'm waiting for this light to change. The traffic down here travels fast. It's not like a neighborhood speed on this particular, because this is the parkway and comes down here and becomes, what do they call it? What, right when it's in front of, I don't know. When I cross the street, I'll look at the sign, I'll tell you. It becomes something else passing right in front of the casinos, and then it goes through and it becomes North Market, or it merges with North Market. It's so weird. There's a couple of streets over here, and they come and then they all converge, and that's a whole different area of town. And there's a smaller airport there. The small airline, you know, I would be challenging myself to get on a large commercial airline. The smaller commercial airlines, that really does kind of scare me, you know. I don't know. I see cars that are like, you know, 15, 20 years old breaking down. So airplanes that are that old, I definitely have concerns. So that's one of the reasons why I don't fly. I have flown, but only in, like, you know, a couple of times, and only on bigger flights. That one time I went to Elk Cove, Nevada, was a smaller flight from Shreveport to Elk Cove. It's a direct, you know, or whatever. But I was in my 20s. And of course, everybody knows that you're invincible at that stage in your life. Oh my God. Okay. You know, I'm not gonna run around and splash in that fountain. But then again, why not? Why couldn't adults go off? But it is mostly for the children. They do need a place to chillax and get out of this heat and everything. I remember being excited. I posted a video. I walked around where the sprinklers were, talked about it, and I was like, I'd given up on it. And then there was going to be some, you know, redoing that. And some of it, if not all of it, has come from private investing or whatever. And then some, you know, I don't know the scoop of it. it would be nice to see those roses restored to their bright glory just because they're so damn cool. But they're nice as they are there anyway, but they just look like big, huge iron roses that kind of go unnoticed. Wouldn't it be nice to see that up there? And, you know, investing in one's community. All these bars. So, all these bars used to open on the weekends. When these casinos first came, actually before the casinos came, there were a few bars over here, but then they came through and they bought out 624 right here with this awning was a bar that I went to very frequently. It was one of a few what you would call gay bars at the time. It sold. A lot of these opened up, and this became part of a red light district that went from this block a couple of blocks down to the other end of that block, and you actually could go from club to club with your alcoholic beverage in your hands, and it stayed, and it was really fun. A lot of that closed. A lot of that changed. A lot of that closed. Occasionally something will pop up and it's a special event, but there's not really that much going on. I don't know if there's a club down there or not. And this is the beginning of Festival Plaza. Love that. Love when they have things going on there. I think Farmers Market in the morning. I'm going to go there. Farmers Market in the morning. I have some purchases I need to make, and and then the last time I was there, like last weekend or something, they didn't have a performer, they had a DJ. Now a DJ is a musical artist if he's doing more than just playing. If he's just playing other people's music, then that's fine. But if he's like a radio DJ or something where he's got a personality or something, that's kind of cool too. There's an art to that. There is an art to knowing which song goes well played behind which one within a music block and everything. That's all good, but I'm not quite so certain about like club DJs who like sample and do electronic music over the, that's kind of, it's building art, but it's like using other people's music, and if you're doing it without, express consent and everything. As someone who creates art, I'm kind of particular, about like, I don't want my work to be picked up and used in other, in other medias or something without at least my consent, but you share my videos, my link to my video, but don't like zoom into a photo of a pic of a painting that I've done, clip it out, and then butcher it to recreate it for you. Don't do that, don't make it into something that you want to do. That's kind of what I think about, when I do get around to publishing my book, which I specifically have decided to wait until certainly after this first trip that I'm taking in September going into October. I've decided to wait before that initial self-publication. But when that comes out, I wouldn't want people to like, rework my work or whatever. It's art should inspire, and art should breed art. Art should inspire, and art should lead other artists to create art, but art should not lead to plagiarism. That's a big problem that I have with this movie Barbarian that came out a couple of years ago. Whenever Barbarian was set at it was set in a house that was rented on a B&B in a dilapidated neighborhood of the town that it was in. So it was like a secluded area. But aside from that, an owner of the B&B showing up, and then the two people double booked at the B&B, and then they go in and they have like a little political conversation of gender roles, you know. And then they discover people in tunnels under the house and the surrounding neighborhood. Well, beat for beat, it was more stylized, of course, longer and more stylized, different camera angles and everything. But it's beat for beat. If you held it up to a movie from 1982, Hell Night, with featuring Peter Barton, Linda Blair, Peter Vincent. Oh, no, not Peter Vincent. So, where's my mind? Vincent Van Patten, the actor and the tennis star, Vincent Van Patten. That movie, Hell Night, is beat for beat. Sometimes almost shot for shot. Even the spacing of the jump scares. There is a homeless man in Barbarian that's in the neighborhood, and his death is damn near identical to the death that happens of Vincent Van Patten, where the monster reaches out and grabs his head from behind a wall or something like that. So, yeah. Even the way the final girl finds herself alone, Hell Night, you know, the guy is thrown out of a window, and the final girl, Linda Blair, is running around alone by herself. And in Barbarian, the final girl is the final girl because the guy has been thrown from a high roof or something like that, or window, you know, whatever. Barbarian rips off Hell Night in so many different ways, and everybody that sees or talks about or reviews Barbarian talks about what an original film it is, and it's not original. It's about as unoriginal as, I don't know, you could be. It's modernized. But even Barbarian starts out with, and I already did a review of Barbarian, I already talked about this. I was looking at a video where they talked about it earlier, and I was like, no. It's because of the new movie that's out, the Weapons. It's done by the same guy. And Barbarians was such a rip that I'm not going to go to the theater to see Weapons. I'm going to wait and review that movie when it comes out on streaming, and I'll review it there. So my rating system for movies is typically based on how much I would spend to see it. You know, you don't have to worry about PG, G, R, anything like that as far as ratings on something like this, because we're going to see everything anyway. The only question is, how much will you pay to see it? And Weapons can go no higher than a S for streaming. But this is about the Barbarian. And with Hell Night, once they leave a little party, and then as they're it's like something quick, where they spend about 2 or 3 minutes at this huge party, and then they leave the party in a caravan from the sorority row to the mansion, the abandoned mansion. And the first thing that happens is, as they're walking to approach the house, they give the backstory. And then what happens is that the two couples that are left there kind of separate. And Peter Barton and Linda Blair, their characters, she's Marty, and I forget what his character is. It's not Seth, I can tell you that one, or Wes. But anyway, then they have this discussion because he's very wealthy and rich, and she's not. Now the point is, this particular political discussion is there not because it's trying to be awakening for politics or anything like that. It's really not. It's not a feminist piece, anything like that. It's to set up the fact that Linda Blair's character is a mechanic. Around this same pacing, around this same place in the movie Barbarian, the lead actor and the lead actress are in the house, and they're talking about had she been a woman in the house and a man had knocked up on the door, she would not have let him in. But because he was the man in the house, they got there first. Person renting this B&B that they're double booked, that he could trust her, and she could make that decision as to whether she wanted to come in or not. It was a whole like gender thing, you know, of how gender relates. But there absolutely is no set up point later in this movie for this character. She does not benefit from her status. She doesn't like not benefit, but yeah, there's no setup. There's no reason for it at all, other than the fact that Hell Night had at this place a conversation about social politics, and so it just serves to rip off. It was like, what can we do? What did it? So they're following the pattern of Hell Night exactly in that movie Barbarian, and it's a big FU to Barbarian for being unoriginal. And I'm so sorry. It's not a bad movie. It's a good movie because it's a ripoff of a great slasher, which, by the way, was not a super gory slasher. Today, it wouldn't even get the R rating, Hell Night. But if you want something interesting to do, go watch Hell Night, then go watch Barbarian. They're both fun movies. But yeah, they should come out in a couple of years on the same like movie collection. Yeah, they should come out on the same movie collection where, you know, you have like the package of movies on the DVDs or anything like that. So, which one? I'm just gonna cross whichever, right? That one or that one? Yay! This one. And that's cool. There was someone standing behind me, and I wanted to see it. I wanted to seem a little less crazy. Talk phone, making videos or whatever, talking random stuff. But those movies, Hell Night and Barbarian, check them out. I sure do. I get off on some subjects and some tangents. The reason why I got on this is because somebody was reviewing the movie Weapons. It was a reviewer called Cody Leach. Go check him out. He's a cool dude. But in doing so, he made a comparison to the movie Barbarian and said that the movie Barbarian was an original film. It was so original. No, it was not. Not even the style of the movie was original, because I don't know. Some other unoriginal movies did stylized versions of remake. Hereditary was basically a stylized remake of The Witch with a male in the lead, and he was, you know, going to inherit the properties of a deity that the witches worshipped in that movie. But it was basically The Witch. And then I don't know, Midsummer. Well, that's definitely The Wicker Man. Stylized, longer version of The Wicker Man. Again, not original. And guess what? Barbarian, not original. Rip on Hell Night. Hell Night kind of drew a little inspiration from H.P. Lovecraft. You know, what was that movie with the monster, the castle and the monster, and he looks at himself and he realizes that he is the monster, that everybody's afraid that he's the monster, that they're not the monster, he's the monster. Yeah. So, which that movie had been done. Of course, it was after Hell Night, but they did a movie, Castle Freak, that kind of is kind of built around that, and it was Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton. You know, they're huge into, and Richard Brand, I think. Or Richard Band, but they're heavily into H.P. Lovecraft, you know, in their productions a lot of times. And then I think Barbara Crampton later on remade. Yeah, she produced the remade Castle Freak. She's not in it, but in this case, it's a twist where it kind of leads to female empowerment. So I'm gonna check out. I'm gonna go home, get a little cleaned up, but I'm gonna check out this band as I'm walking by to decide if I'm coming back later. They had a band the other week that was awesome. I think that's the same band though. I've already seen these guys. I'm gonna get them to start on their next song. I'm like spying. I'm like a creepy guy peeking in windows. No, I guess it was just a warm up. Yeah, that's the same band that was there last week, but they were great. Okay. Coming up Texas tomorrow. Oh wait, I was gonna tell Commerce Street. I was like, what is the name of that street? I was gonna look and tell you what that street was. Well, Commerce Street was the one where all the bars were. But I didn't tell you the street that turns into runs right in front of those casinos. So I am gonna go back and do that. Because I actually need to kill some time. Literally need to kill some time. So I'm gonna go back down under the bridge and find a sign that lets me know what the name of that street is. I know that it's Uri Drive, comes into downtown, becomes something else, and then on the other side of downtown turns into North Market, or merges with North Market, and that becomes like one road. Whereas inside you have Market and another street. I'll be up on it in a moment. A couple of streets heading out, a couple of bridges going south of downtown. They kind of converge and become one street, one road. At one point, they kind of turn into Market, not North Market, Market Street. And the Market splits off and continues to turn into I want to say, I don't know, forget it. I don't know, it's a whole other stuff. But it turns into this curve that lets out on Stoner Avenue. So Stoner and Marshall and Market or whatever, and that turns into I don't know, but right next to this place that's called Pipes Emporium, we used to call the head shop, but it's a big curve there. And my friend Rabbi used to call it Cecil's Curve, because I used to drive, my first name is Cecil. So I used to drive this 62 Buick Speedwagon, limited edition and everything, courtesy of some people that I worked for. And but it had no power steering, so sometimes I would find myself accidentally drifting into a turn. So, whatever. Let's see. I gotta go because I'm really curious as to what this little thoroughfare going in front of the casinos is called. And hey, Google, that would be cheating. Plus, I'm doing a video and I don't want to wait till I get home to know. And this is a way that I can add some extra steps into my health walk for the night. Yay. So we want to, just under the bridge, like I said, that is Commerce Street. All those clubs used to open up. It would be cool to see something happen like that again. But, you'd have to trade out. You couldn't do children splashing across the street and then have, the next block over, nightclubs and things like that. So, well, it depends upon, maybe some quiet restaurants and lounges or something. I think what could happen, what would benefit that area, would be a nice shop where people could go and sit. So the aquarium could open up that cafe. They only open on special events, and sometimes they'll open it for like a high-end, gonna have some jazz musicians come in there and charge like a lot of money for things that don't cost that much. Kind of like upper scale kind of things at least. And what we don't need that, we need just a normal little diner. A normal little something where kids and families can go and get a burger and fries or something like that. And something like that down here, pairing up with those sprinklers, those sprinkler parks, that they would clean up, and I'm not even talking about a food truck. I'm talking about a place where they can sit and eat. So that's just my idea. I do not have the backing or the motivation to do it, but I do know that would kind of help solidify making that a destination of a place where if you do, gambling families want to come to the casinos, knowing that there's also some family-friendly things to do not too far from the casinos. So there's no reason not to bring your entire family to our casinos and our things. We're a lot more than just casinos in Shreveport, We need to get on with that. There is a new daiquiri shop that just opened under the bridge for you daiquiri fans. I don't drink. Used to be a coffee shop, and they used to do beat poetry there. It's dark alley. But I'm probably the creepiest thing in this alley right now. Yeah, there used to be like a coffee shop, and people would do poetry and things like that. And I went to it a few times, but I'm not really the slam poetry kind of person, Like, I'm not angry. This slam poetry is when you're fed up and you're gonna say some shit that needs to be said and this and that and everything. And that's, I don't know, sometimes I find myself feeling angst or anger and everything. It was so weird because I'm a Gen Xer. I should be like jaded and pissed off at everything. I'm not. Only relationships. But romantic, but even my poetry doesn't reflect that. It reflects hopefulness and sometimes I write songs about breakups, but a lot of times, whatever. But I would say I'm a Gen Xer who has seen beyond the 80s because I've lived long enough. I've survived it, so long enough to know that I've been jaded, and then I've been unjaded because I came back to a position of hope. For what? I don't know. Yay! The sandbar. Let's see. Right there. You can't really see. That's a cool little place. If you like, you play pool, a lot of arcade games and stuff, and everything like that. It's a good adult playground. Come check it out. This used to be a bar. It used to be really kind of cool because there used to be a window open where they did snack food in the middle of the night. I see it's closed now. It's boarded up. But it was always fun to come here. I'd walk with my friends. One of my friends, one half of the couple, where they both went to just outside of Kansas City in Parkview, Missouri. So, but we used to come out in the middle of the night and walk up there, get like some burgers or chicken fingers or something like that. It was a cool little thing. And this club is closed. This club has been a few things, but you know, Phoenix. And the Phoenix Underground used to be in a location that was Pockets, which was a pool hall that I used to go to with my sister and some friends of ours. But I don't think this place opens. I don't think it's... Nope, it's definitely closed. If it's not open this time on a Friday, why was it looking to go out to party anyway? Not really. When I do go out to see something, a show or something like that, I'm kind of like, I'm with someone and it's to see the show. It's not really it's not drink or party or anything like that. My goal walking back over here is to find myself back to some sort of street sign that lets me know what this is called. It might be Market Street going in front of the casinos, but I don't think so. I think that's Market Street. Like, behind me. That's Market Street. Like, that's Commerce Street. No, I'm on Commerce Street, so that's Market Street, I guess. I don't know. But get like a whole map of the downtown Shreveport and look at it. That's what I should do. Why do I care? The truth is I don't. I'm just kind of obsessed with finding out the name now. But it's Uri Drive, and then it becomes North Market, and in between there is a stretch right in front of these casinos where it's not Uri Drive, and it's not Market. Let's see. Look at this. Now, if you want this fun, you could come out to Larry Flint's, let's see what this is. Yes, Larry Flint's Ha-Lear Club. And that promises to be a fun time. So, it's kind of like being in the South and you see someone and you say something like, "You there?" But instead you say, "You there?" You know, that's, you know, it's a lot like the Missouri people and they're like, "Show me" or something. It's or the other place, the Hoosiers, they're Indiana. They want to know who's there. Well, so this is "You there?" You know, instead of who's. Yeah, instead of who's there, it's kind of like you there. That's what I think. That's the make-up world. That's the fantasy that I'm going to tell myself in my mind. Also, instead of like, I don't have any money or anything.
You know if this is a regular club or a strip club?
They don't really show anything, but go for it. You want to know if that's a regular club or a strip club? It's a You There club. I always have to let people know, hey, if I don't have any money. Because I don't want people to go through like their whole routine or something. If I know that was presumptuous, but more times than not, when someone's flagging me down, they want to know if it's a strip club, and I'll just say, hey, I don't have any money, and I can't give you anything, because you know most of the time people want to know something. But I'm sorry if that seemed presumptuous. But anyway. They wanted to know if it was a strip club or a regular club. I was like, well, you're not going to see anything. If it is a strip club, you're not going to see much. It's Shreveport, Louisiana, and you might get some skimpy bottoms and pasties on the nipples. So you're going to have to let your mind wander from there. But I've seen some of what passes through there. I wouldn't give it $1. And I know it's people just trying to make a living. I have nothing against sex workers, but my ego would never really let me pay for sex, so I'm just not that I think that it's wrong, but if you're gonna do that, then let's get it registered so we can make sure people have all their inoculations. You know, like any other intimate thing, there should be some licenses or something. So we're at where, so it is, how did I not know this? Clive Fant Memorial Parkway, and then it splits up the road a piece, and it becomes Uri Drive and Clive Fant Parkway, and the split that becomes Uri Drive merges with a bit of street Marshall, I think, that wants to go, no, not Marshall, Centenary. Yes, I knew I would get it. And Centenary, and they kind of merge up. And then there's that curve right next to that area that swerve around the old daiquiri shop, the old video store. That's right next to. The only thing that's still there on that corner is the Pipes Emporium, and where Rabbi used to say, "Here comes Cecil's curve," So I was a bit of a maniacal driver too. Can't just blame it on having to drift. I think I got used to driving that big, beautiful car, that when I got into cars that had like power steering, I really overcompensated. I can't always blame it on the alcohol or the drugs or anything. Maybe I'm just a bad driver. I do now have a little bit of a double vision, so I'm sweaty as hell, by the way. I do have a little bit of a double vision. Not so much that it's debilitating, but because I have crystal clear vision, there's an overlap. And so because of that, I don't drive. Well, that's one of the reasons why I don't drive. Okay, now I am going to just take my ass home. Let's see, there's a guy walking. Let's see if he's the same guy that wanted to know about the strip club. Do you believe he is? Perhaps I was right initially. Okay. Did you find out?
Yeah, $25 admission.
Oh, no. No, you would see maybe pasties and some tiny stuff. So no.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, man.
Okay. Was the same guy. Did not have $25. So, what were you going to... I mean, you didn't have $25. A drink in there would cost like $10 at least, if you're going to get a good one. Plus, no. Maybe I should have told him about the Wild Orchid. Is that still around? There used to be something in Bossier called a Wild Orchid. Then there used to be something called Action Central. Those ladies were, yeah, and I'm not even like, I know this because, like, I don't know, I used to make the rounds, right? So, like, I was kind of the rounds maker that could make all the rounds, and I was so, I was in that crew that I could make the rounds, step into a place, and like, yo, by the way, oh, give us a beer. I would get that free beer and just make the whole thing, and that was cool. That was, whatever. It was so nice to be like that awesome. Anyway, that's sarcasm, by the way. But those Action Central ladies were, you paid them to maybe keep the clothes on. It was, yeah. I'm not really, and I'm gay. What do I want to go to see women strip for anyway? But I do not know. Mostly the reason I don't go to a strip club is because I am way too cheap. I remember, I can't tell this story. A story I would tell involves somebody who, today they might be like, oh, that's what happened or whatever, and it'd be kind of like telling somebody, bringing somebody. So there's some anecdotes that I have that I would tell, but I don't, because what I don't want is I don't want to get anybody else in the slightest bit of trouble or whatever. So I always kind of be careful about that. I'm gonna run across this road. So you want to cross that road, so you want to be careful. That road's claimed lots of pets. So, a lot of people on that road been claimed by them trucks on that road. My Fred Gwynn from Pet Cemetery imitation. Okay. I've run out of things to say. And I have talked over an hour. I'm going to go home. I'm going to make some food. Meat. And I'm going to sit down and watch a little TV and relax. And definitely set an alarm. Tomorrow, I'm going to do everything I can to motivate myself to go to the farmer's market in the morning. And hopefully there'll be like some live entertainment other than a DJ. And then we could really have some fun. So check back then. But right now, Godspeed, love and light, good night, God bless.